Welcome to the show. Welcome to Your Thought Life Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anderson. Today we're talking about showing up as your best self. It's quite interesting because in session, more often than not, when I ask people, do they really have a grasp for what this means? They really don't have a solid idea of what it means to show up as your best self. So I just want you to imagine walking into every room, into every challenge, knowing that you are there as your most authentic self. You are there in power, in confidence, and encouraged. If this picture doesn't fit you, the one that I just illustrated, if you've ever wanted to show up like that, we're going to share with you today exactly how to do that. We're going to explore some practical steps for you to become, over time, your best self. No matter what life throws your way, you're going to have some tools that you can reach into your toolkit and utilize in the time of need. Science tells us, specifically psychology, that self-awareness is fundamental to personal growth. You probably already know that. But according to a Harvard Business Review, only 10 to 15% of people are truly self-aware. Yet these individuals tend to be more confident, creative, and effective leaders. Showing up as your best self isn't about perfection. It's about knowing who you are, why, and where you're going. For the people that I'm fortunate to work with, I share with them, let's always start with intention. So how do you actually do that? Good question. You first start your day with intention. You have a morning routine where you are, in so many words, rehearsing through your visualization, through your journal writing, through your quiet time, what the day is going to look like, what are the key milestones, and how you're going to maneuver through the day, successfully checking off all of the tasks that you have in store for yourself. So you're going to get some quiet time. You're not checking the phone. You're not doing anything with the television. You're not doing anything with the computer, no electronics. And you're really just going to ask yourself, how am I going to show up today? What things do I have in front of me that I need to conquer? And you're going to visualize with tremendous quality and depth. You're going to see yourself maneuvering through the day, hitting all of your targets, doing the things that are even outside of your comfort zone. You're feeling the emotion. You're feeling those feelings that are associated with the discomfort, but you're doing it anyway. And what you're going to find is that by doing this, you're going to find yourself maneuvering through the day with a tremendous amount of intention, such that if something comes your way and it was not a part of your visualization, it was not on the docket, and it is presenting itself as resistance or a challenge, you're going to be able to then think through that, because you know you've got to get back on task to complete those objectives that you intentionally saw yourself doing and completing in your morning routine. This idea of starting the day with intention primes your brain to act in alignment with your best self. And again, we made mention that this is a foundational element. We're going to practice self-compassion. What's that mean? We all have off days, but harsh self-criticism keeps us stuck. How does it keep us stuck? Dr. Kristen Neff's research shows that people who treat themselves with kindness are more resilient and motivated. You have to maintain a positive state of mind for you to be able to negotiate life's challenges, for you to be able to create a balance between what you desire to do and the situation on the ground, as we said in the Army, but the things that are playing out like theater in your life day to day, some of which you didn't ask for. You've got to maintain a positive disposition to be able to negotiate those things in such a way that they don't pull you down, they don't bring you out of your positive state of mind. And so it's very important for you to remain motivated, to have a positive disposition, because growth is a journey. And all of us are endeavoring to move from where we are to a higher level. And let's not forget, we're talking about showing up as our best self. And as we think through the pathways that we need to go through to be on a day-to-day basis our best self, one of them is maintaining a positive disposition so that we can do and face whatever life throws us with the right frame of mind so we can get through it as fast as possible to get back on track. I want you to pay particular attention to your inner circle. Your inner circle is incredibly important. I surround myself with people who inspire me, with people who will lift me up and help me if I'm going through a challenging period. If you don't have people like that you're doing life with on a day-to-day basis that you can confide in and know that what you have shared isn't going to go beyond the trust that you have with that individual, and if they sense that you're in a difficult disposition, they are going to render aid. If you're not doing life with people who are doing life like you're doing, who have pursuits, goals, dreams, aspirations, intentions like you have, then I want you to really take a hard look at that. I want you to take a really hard look at that, because you need that like you need oxygen. It's incredibly important. Jim Rohn wisely noted that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you're the alpha, it's time for you no longer to be the alpha. It's time for you to move to another environment where you can learn and draw from the wisdom in that circle. So I want you to seek relationships that challenge you, support you, and that hold you accountable. We talked about this whole idea of showing up as your best self as a growth opportunity. Here is another one of those nuggets that you put away in your tool chest for observation. What does your inner circle look like? Conscious decision making is something that I have been practicing for quite some time. Not to say that I've gotten it down, but we also shared how important awareness is. My level of awareness here has really reached to a new plateau. I want the same for you, family. So when facing tough decisions, just pause and ask yourself. Again, we're talking about conscious decision making. I want you to pause and ask yourself, what would my best self do right now? And what this forces you to do is lay aside comfort, lay aside emotion, lay aside your past, and lay aside things that people have told you, and lock squarely into the idea, if I were my best self, how would I deal with this? And then get quiet and listen. And once you hear the guidance, act on it immediately. This creates space between stimulus and response, and it allows you to choose actions consciously, hence conscious decision making, rather than reacting automatically out of habit. Our goal here is to break out of those habitual patterns and move through heightened sense of awareness and through intention, coupled with our inner circle and practicing self-compassion, into a space where now we are in firm control of what it is we desire to do, to include our decision making. And lastly, I want you to spend some time journaling where you're affirming your strengths. Too often, we are our worst critics and we capitalize on incidents that take place to really amp up those areas of our lives where we might not be exhibiting a strength. When in fact, we should be doing just the opposite. We should be really leveraging our strengths to such an extent that they are propelling us while we document areas of opportunity. I don't like to call them weaknesses, areas of opportunity that we're actively working on in the same way that we're working on becoming our best self. There's some sub areas that require some attention. And there's a psychology concept of self-affirmation, and it has proven to reduce stress and improve performance. This is why it's so important for you to be here, to be in this space where you've got a positive disposition, where you're doing life from a position of intention, where you're practicing compassion. You've got a proper inner circle to hold you up when times get tough. And you're now able to make conscious decisions about being, becoming, and doing the things that allow you to be and show up as your best self. And then the final component is exactly what we're talking about right now, family. And that is to affirm your strengths. Take time to write those strengths down and to really key in on those, because by acknowledging your core values and strengths, you reinforce your identity, and that too acts as an accelerant for the motivation and the positive mental mindset that you need to keep moving forward. It's a springboard to help you move further, faster. So try writing down on a sheet of paper all of the things that you're good at. And if that's too overwhelming, just pick 3 and do 3 each time you sit down to do some journal, and watch over time how many things that you're really good at. And so the next time that little voice says that you're not enough and you can't do it and you're not this or that, then you can break out that journal and turn to the page that you dog-eared with a little S on it and start to read for yourself and for the noisy voice all of your strengths. If that doesn't quiet that sucker down, I don't know what will. This is something that I have done in my own life, and I know it is known good and it works like a charm. So we endeavored today to get you plussed up with some tools that would help you to show up as your best self. You owe it to yourself to be your best self. We have a finite amount of time. We have a finite amount of resources for each day. And it is our responsibility to be good stewards of those resources and to make the absolute best of each day, so that when we get to the end of the day and we do our after action review, we give ourselves a scorecard, if you will. How did we perform? What did we get done? Did we do what we said we were going to do? Or were we knocked by the wayside by life and life events? We're able then to come to the table with some really good techniques and tactics so that we show up to that end of the day review as conquerors every single day. And to the extent that we don't, we document what went wrong and think through how we're going to behave or change the course of action if this should present itself again, and believe me, it will. And then we add that to our toolkit. So when we see that circumstance, we already know what we're going to do different, so we don't repeat a cycle of actions that don't yield the fruit. It's a daily practice that becomes more and more natural as you practice and be committed to the process. So the homework for today is to practice and be committed to the process. And thank you so much for your time today. Feel free to connect with us on Linktree. The link is available in the show notes. I want to remind you that you are enough, you can do it, and you are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, take care and keep showing up as your best self.